Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
And welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network. Pete Gray here with Rock Cod Rick Maxa, live from the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here in Point Loma. And we have Michael Fowlkes from Inside Sportfishing from his world headquarters there up in Laguna Beach, and on the phone with us talking the history of sport fishing. What a great show.
This has been awesome, man. Yeah, having lots of fun. Already learned so much and so much more still to cover. If you want to join us in this second hour, we want to hear from you. 833-288-0973. That's how you be a part of Let's Talk Hookup this morning. Again, 833-288-0973. And if you didn't catch it in the first hour, giving away a fantastic prize, and that is a full-day trip to go fishing on the San Diego from C4 Sport Fishing. Fish with Captain Ryan Bosch, and a great opportunity. And I just want to say real quick, too, I know one of my favorite things that Michael did in more recent time was the Jig Chuckers Ball that was filmed on San Diego with the guys, and what a cool story that was, and really like the very, very beginning of this whole big bluefin thing that we've all experienced over the last 4 or 5 years.
It was, Rick. It was for sure. I think we went out yellowtail fishing and ended up in those bluefin. That was that phenomenal trip.
And the talent you had on that boat
was so
just
cool.
like craziness.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was really Brandon Hayward's brainstorm from the bite. He was the one who said, "Let's put this together." And he called me and said, "Hey, I want to get all these guys together and do a jig fishing special." And I said, "Are you kidding me? All these captains together in one boat? It'd be insane." So
that's cool.
It was amazing. There was not a single tangle. It was an amazing. So glad we got it on film. We're putting all that up on YouTube too. I've been working real hard on getting all these retro shows back up on YouTube. So we've been trying to post a new episode every day.
Nice. So this is on the Inside Sport Fishing YouTube channel?
Yeah, Inside Sport Fishing channel on YouTube. They were posting up new shows every day, and I got a great lineup and stuff coming up, and the Jig Chuckers Ball is right at the top of the list. So
right on.
Sweet.
I can't wait.
That sounds great. Hey, we got the catch course coming up. Before we do that, I want to mention happy anniversary to Harold and Ardith Davis. 50 years today.
Congratulations, Harold.
How about that, huh? Happy. How would Ardith put up with Harold for 50 years?
She's a saint.
Yeah, she's an absolute saint, right?
But
happy anniversary to Harold and Ardith Davis. They're very, very well deserved. And also, I want to mention too that our friends over at Point Loma Seafoods are open 7 days a week. You talk about wanting to get fresh fish. Point Loma Seafoods open 7 days a week, 11 to 6. Fresh fish. The kitchen's open. I had a piece of white sea bass there this week that was just insane. So, yeah, it was really, really good. So, check them out over at Point Loma Seafoods next to the San Diego landings.
All right. Well, with that said, it's time.
Harold.
That's cool.
Indeed.
With that, it's time to find out what's biting. It's time for our catch report. Our fishdope.com report today is sponsored by the Sato Crimp and Winder Company with products for serious sports fishermen. The Sato Crimp system has become the best way to make your own spectra to fluorocarbon or mono top shots. It's easy, it's cost effective, time and big fish proven. Some commercially made top shots can cost as much as $50 or more. Get the Sato Crimp and supplies at selected tackle stores like Fisherman's Landing Tackle and the Longfin. Let's find out what's going on. Our fishdope.com reporter, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge, is on the line right now. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Ricky, Pete, Michael. What a fantastic show this morning. I've been having a blast listening to you guys.
Thanks.
A lot of fun.
So if it's true that April showers bring May flowers, we're going to have another world-class poppy bloom again this year, man. And it's a little more rain again today, along with some breeze. Not the best of weather for sure. But, and again, not too many reports this week. That's understandable. But if you guys did look offshore for some of that elusive bluefin tuna, some areas of bait and birds, but not too much on the fish, hopefully soon coming. along the beach, still kind of slow. You know, there's been a little pick on the bass here and there, and sculpin rockfish, sheephead on the bottom like that. But without a doubt, the best news was a fantastic catch of halibut that a couple guys made. They had 4 beauties. I think the big one was 46 pounds. That was right outside right outside the Pedro Light there. They were like 14 and 1 or 2 30s, and then that 46. Man, that's a heck of a catch. Wow. And then we were getting bait talking to Nacho on Thursday morning, and he said some guys are starting to pick them inside the harbor, which is really nice news too, inside the outer breakwater there. We've had very little the last couple of years. Normally it's quite good, but one guy had a couple like 20-pounders there, so that's all good news there. No surface signal at all in our local area. It's just less than stellar conditions for sure. And no reports at all from Clemente or Santa Barbara this week, but Catalina did get a little bit of coverage, you know, mostly rockfish, a few bass here and there. John and I ran over on Thursday trying to catch what was supposed to be a weather window. It didn't work out the best. But we looked for sea bass in the morning, ground up several spots there, pretty good. Very little success. We did catch 2 20-inchers, not 20-pounders, unfortunately. Conditions were tough. The water was clean and no current, and it just wasn't right. But we shifted gears midday there, and thank God for cods there. The 30 and 40 fathom spots that I fish a lot over there were absolutely empty, just void. But out deeper is like, oh boy, they're snapping. Snappers were snapping. We had limits of big reds, chucks, boscos, and even a couple of sunset rockfish, which look like a red, but not quite. And the fun part was, at the end of the day, we're coming in. We had a couple of great big salmon groupers, which are not my favorite for dinner. So we're coming through the harbor, and we came up to one skiff and asked him if he wanted them. He said no, and it wasn't even all that nice about it. Then the next one had 2 guys fishing in it, and I said, hey, you want a couple giant rockfish for a fantastic cod dinner? You thought these guys, I was giving them $1 million. It was unbelievable. We passed those cods over to them, and their eyes were bugging out of their head, and the guy said, oh, my God, my wife won't believe I finally caught something.
That's cool.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what's amazing, Mark, is fishdope.com. Danny and the boys have been keeping, even with what's going on right now, keeping everybody up to date of what's going on. I mean, updates on the bait, Everingham bait barges, everything up and down the coast, the offshore fishing, the inshore fishing, the Catalina Island. Hats off to those guys for doing such a great job of gathering minimal data and putting it together in such a great source there. And
boy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Jeff and Danny both are just really grinding it out, digging deep.
Yeah.
But
Mark,
just too.
Could I ask you? Before the fleet got shut down, I heard there was some phenomenal showing of bluefin just below the border. Did you hear that, or is that old news?
Oh yeah, no, we heard that. I saw pictures of that. I didn't catch any of that, but no, it's around, and I think when we get a chance to go look around, I mean, I don't even want to hear from any of the pilots if anybody got up and flew, just to know what they might be seeing out there. But you know, we've definitely had some weather that's made it tough on the inside here to look around. But yeah, I think when things straighten out, it's going to be game on. And hey, Michael, I heard you talking about that GoFundMe for your project, and I think your project is an absolutely fantastic idea. And what's the name of your GoFundMe thing? Where do we find that? Because Pacific Edge Tackle is definitely going to make a donation, and I think that might be a challenge for all the tackle stores in the area to help you out a little bit there.
Cool.
But what's
cool.
the name?
The history of sportfishing.com.
Okay, we got it.
The history of sportfishing.com.
So you just go to GoFundMe and you just type in history.
I just Googled the history of sport fishing.
Just Google the history of sport fishing, and then you'll find it.
And that'll give you a little brief summary of what we're doing. That'll take you to the GoFundMe page. It's in the history of sport fishing website.
Does that have the little teaser film that you put together?
Yes.
That's just got to go see that too,
dude.
That thing is awesome.
Yeah, if you need any further push as to why this will be so cool, the teaser you put together was great.
Thanks. I hate being on camera, but we needed to do it.
Nah, you did a great job. Well, Mark,
thanks, Mark.
It's just I've been fortunate to be involved with a lot of fishing here for quite a number of years, and I mean, and all that stuff that happened before me that really laid the groundwork for all the stuff that we do today. I mean, what a huge project, man. You got a lot of guts to take this one on, buddy, but I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Mark. We've all been a big part of it, as have you. I mean,
that's cool. Well, hey, Mark, if somebody wants to find you, how do we get you?
Pete, we're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger and Huntington Beach. Phone number at the store, which is the best way to get us right now, area code 714-840-4262, and the website pacificedgetackle.com. And we'll have something for you next week, one way or another.
Hey, dig out one of those old logbooks. Speaking of history, I love that last week.
That was really fun, man. That was really fun.
All right.
That was good stuff.
So I got all motivated after that one, and I just grabbed one out of many, and it was 2001. So then near that same one, I went and looked for the year 2000, which would have been 20 years ago. Oh, my God.
All right. So you're going to give it up next week, huh?
Yeah. I'll read you some.
That's cool.
Okay. It's just crazy.
I like it. I like it. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. And we'll talk to you next Saturday with 20 years ago. Talk about history, cool. Right? And today, of course, right? Yeah, indeed.
Blended the old and the new. Hey, appreciate that very much. That's going to wrap up our catch board. Again, sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Not only do they offer the best processing for your fish when your trip returns to the San Diego landings, but now with Fish Pros The Market, you can purchase fresh fish, smoked and jerkied fish, their spices, rubs, smoked cheese, and their famous tuna burgers. They're open every day from 10 to 2, or you can have it shipped right to your door. They have some great summer specials going on right now in their smoked fish, jerky, smoked cheese, their spices, their rubs. Get them all at their Liberty Station location or order online at fishermansprocessing.com.
And Sean will bring it right to you. He'll if you're in certain zip codes right around the area, he'll drop it off at your house.
$25 or more order, they will deliver for free in selected zip codes. If you don't want that, you can drive right up to the building. You can prepay beforehand. You don't even have to get out of your car. They'll drive it right to you. Minimal contact. Those guys are doing it right.
Oh yeah, I was over there yesterday and buying up some fish, and Sean was getting ready to go out and do his deliveries.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they have sundries, like they have flour, they have toilet paper, and they have like they're like a general store.
Yeah, some of the things hard to get to, bread flour and yeast and things like that that are still difficult to find in the grocery stores. They got.
They're doing it as a service to our fishing community, and we really appreciate that very much.
You got it.
Indeed. Phones are packed up, Rick. Let's jump into it.
Sounds good. How about this time we talk to another Harry from Chula Vista. Good morning, Harry. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Hi,
Harry. Good morning. So I'm wondering, since you're doing a historical perspective on sport fishing, have you thought of maybe mentioning the Kumeyaay fishermen who went out in their rafts out to the islands? I know they went to the Coronados, and probably they went out to other islands off of California.
I haven't thought of them. I hadn't even heard about them, to be honest with you. So fill me in.
Okay, so they would shape different materials, perhaps seashells or other items they could find to use as hooks. They would intertwine different materials from plants they could use as a fishing line.
Right.
And once they would catch the fish on the rafts, they would let the fish pull them rather than trying to hoist them, so that the fish would tire out, and eventually they could work them on the raft and get them to shore. And I know they even harvested whales. I'm not sure exactly how that worked, but I know they did that too.
That's cool.
We probably won't cover that.
That's real deep. That's deep history for sure.
Hey, you might want to mention. You might want to mention it though.
That's nice. Well, thanks a lot for the call this morning. Cool. Appreciate that very much. It's good stuff. Hey, Michael, so we talked about the history of sport fishing and how it started here in Southern California at Catalina Island. You know what's amazing to me is, fishing is big all over, but sport fishing is bigger on the East Coast and Florida and stuff like that, but they don't have the history that the West Coast does, right?
Correct. And And that's kind of where I think the focus when we're talking about the birth of big game fishing is going to be in Southern California. Once we get that birth pilot finished, then it opens the door up to historical fishing and the evolution of sport fishing all over the country, the Gulf Coast, Florida, up and down the East Coast as well. So it's not going to be just about Southern California sport fishing, but the birth of sport fishing is where we're going to focus on the pilot. And that's why I was saying I think each one of these episodes or chapters could be multiple chapters in and of themselves. But we've got historical footage from Bimini Bay. I mean, there's just some amazing stuff that's taken place in our sport over the last decade.
One of the things I'm so looking forward to is the getting to see the full circle of fishing, from 100 years ago, where now it's so commonplace to see a skiff, out fishing with a kite and a flying fish catching a bluefin tuna. And then seeing like your teaser, the history of sport fishing, and seeing black and white photos 100 years ago of two guys set out in a small boat with a kite and flying fish catching 100-pound bluefin tuna. I mean, it's 100 years later, obviously with advancements in technology, but we're doing the exact same thing, catching the same fish in the same water.
The more things change, the more they remain the same. It comes down to the basic fundamentals of enticing a fish to bite.
That's cool. That's so cool.
That's what it is. Well, phones are packed. They want to talk to you, Mike, so let's jump back into it.
John in San Diego is up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, John. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, John.
Yeah, I've read Ed Reese's books on history. Have you been able to talk to his family?
I haven't yet, but he's definitely on the list. He's definitely on my contact list. So he's done some phenomenal writings over the years. There's Licking Astern, just some amazing collection of information. Probably the number one source of data in Southern California would be Ed and his family.
And Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Magazine's done a great job of reliving a lot of that stuff too.
Yes,
Hats
they
off
have.
to them, for sure.
Yeah, Bill's done a great job posting that up every issue.
Those old books like that are just like that was my favorite thing in the world as like a kid, just thumbing. I remember vividly like thumbing through all of those books and looking at pictures and looking at things like that. I mean, it is it's what all of us did. I'm really excited to see it come to fruition.
For sure. Thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Appreciate that very much. All right.
Appreciate the heads up too.
Yeah, for sure. 833-288-0973 just popped open. You want to get through, have a chance to talk to Michael Fowlkes, Inside Sport Fishing, get a chance to win that trip on the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing. There's your shot. I think we're getting real close to that.
I think so too.
I think we're getting there.
The feel of everybody is just that it feels like things are starting to loosen. People are really wanting to go fishing.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I feel like it's on the horizon.
Yeah, and I'm going to get on my bandwagon here for just a second and talk to the the county of San Diego and say, open the harbors. Come on, really? Let's open those harbors up. It's time. And it's absolutely time to allow people to go out and social distance and be safe on their own boats.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I am all for keeping things, the way they should be and being appropriate and, hopefully curtailing this thing. But the harbor being closed is just, I said it last week, it's such a tough one to swallow that I can live with my wife and we can drive to the store and we can drive to the park and walk our dog and we can do all those things, but we can't drive down to our boat and go out into the ocean, have no contact with any other person because we're in San Diego and the harbor's closed.
Pretty silly.
Yeah, that's one that I'm with you. I don't see the merit in, as long as it's followed appropriately.
That's right.
Good way to recreate, get some sun, get some food. Like
all these people that they have standing watch at these empty parking lots.
Right.
They could put those guys out standing watch on the bay to make sure people do the proper thing on the bay.
I'm with you.
And make it happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my political move.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Hey, Michael, the phones are packed. They want to talk to you, so let's go ahead and jump back in the phones.
How about Mark from Santee up next on Let's Talk Hookup? What's up, Mark? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Great,
buddy.
Good. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, Michael, is that your man cave on the Cheesa?
That's it. That's my office. That's my converted garage.
Pretty nice.
Okay? Thanks.
I got two questions. And I you might have said this and I didn't hear it though. when will the project be done, and who are you going to have to narrate it?
Well, I think I'm going to do the narration.
Good.
At least that's the preliminary ideas. And then as far as completion date, I would love to be able to do a premiere before Fred Hall next year. That's our goal, is to have the premiere ready for the Fred Hall show next year. And that's kind of a lofty goal, but a lot of it depends on funding, to be honest with you. We can only push so far. If I had the wherewithal, I'd fund the entire thing myself. But
Sure.
I don't, so that's why we're asking for help. But the money drives production, to be honest with you. We can only get so much done as the funds come in. A lot of guys are making contributions right now. Mark Wheeler just kicked in, so thank you, Mark.
Nice.
Cool.
Encinitas Ford.
Yeah. So
Good for
Encinitas
Mark.
Ford, Roger, and
Yeah.
Mark. So it really comes down to, we're doing as much as we can, as fast as we can. Our goal would be to have the premiere for Fred Hall next year.
That would be
That's
cool.
cool.
Man, what a great way to do it.
We're ready for it. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. Appreciate that. I was talking to my friend Dan Walsh, who's also a friend of yours. I know Michael, and he was talking about how truly expensive that digitizing of old film is. And is there a company that does that?
Well, there's several companies that do it. The neat thing is there's a company up in Burbank that saw our ad in Pacific Coast Sportfishing magazine and got a hold of Bill DePriest, and Bill referred him over to me. They have come up with a revolutionary film transfer system, which no one else has. And it's fascinating because normally, the sprockets along the edge of the film, everybody's familiar with, there's what they call a pull down claw. And the claw goes up there and grabs that sprocket and pulls it down. And that's one frame at a time as it goes through the projector. And what happens is when the film gets brittle and dried out, that claw grabs that digit, that frame, and pulls it and rips it. So it can't pull any more film down. It just rips physically right through the film. The film ends up burning in front of the lens because there's so much heat. These guys have come up with a roller system where the film is actually transported through a system of rollers. So the pull-down claw is no longer in play. So they're actually transporting the film through the liquid gate transfer system with rollers, which means that we can now probably get to save footage that I thought would probably never be able to be saved. So
things that you assume are already past the point of being too brittle to go through a standard means, now you can.
Exactly. So now I think we're going to be able to save those through the roller system. Company up in Burbank called DC Creative. I'm fascinated by what they're doing.
That's cool.
That's cool. But like you say, it's expensive, and it takes money to make that happen, right?
It does, and to me, it's the project is. I'd be satisfied, honestly, if all we do is get this film digitized, and we never actually produce a film from it. I'm going to be satisfied that we got the film saved, and that's the number one goal. So as long as we get this stuff preserved, then as we move forward, maybe kick the can down the street again with some sponsors and see if we can get some money in there to actually produce the show. But as long as we have the footage saved and digitized, we'll have accomplished a huge step forward in the preservation of the history of our sport.
I want this. I want you to your GoFundMe page to be so successful, Michael, that we want to see that show.
Totally, man.
Yeah,
I
we
feel the
definitely
same.
want to see that show. So, let's hope that between sponsors and also the fishing community, that we get that funds so that we can not only preserve the future of for people to see that film, but also see the show premiere at Fred Hall Long Beach next year.
And I hope
Wouldn't that be cool?
I hope that all of us, like we were talking about, that team mentality that I think we all feel, I just hope that as all of us as individual anglers funded it, it helps in your seeing of like the bigger OEM guys. Maybe they see how many of us want it so bad that we paid for it out of our own pocket that they realize, maybe this would be a really good idea to have my name attached to something like that.
Yeah.
So I hope that one just breeds the other, and sure, well, I know you got all of our support.
I hope we prove their media marketing strategy and demographics wrong. What they're basically saying is that the young generation, the younger anglers, don't care. They don't give one iota about the history of our sport. And that's what all their marketing research is telling them. And yet I had a guy write me last night and said, my God, I'm a young angler, early teens, love to fish, can't wait to see the history of sport fishing. So here's a guy taking the time to write me an email that's in that target demographic saying, I can't wait to see the history of sport fishing. So
absolutely,
my goal is, it's like when they did ET, they went to Hershey and said, hey, we want to have ET follow these M&Ms around, and Hershey's went, are you out of your mind? We're not going to have some alien follow our candy, And so they went to Reese's, and Reese's obviously, the ending, the story.
Yeah, that's funny.
Reese's business went up like 380%.
Exactly.
So hopefully, like you said, people will get this thing rolling, and hopefully some of the bigger guys will step up and say, hey, we want to have our name associated with this.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump back on the phones.
You got it, buddy. How about Chuck and Dana Point up next on Let's Talk Hookup? Chuck, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for the show.
Good morning, Chuck.
Got a smile on my face. This history stuff. They don't realize it, but it's addicting. You like at the San Diego Tackle Trader Wall. I know Ricky and you guys know what I'm talking about. They got lures made out of bone from probably the 40s on up to new. We were sitting there one time, and me and my kid, he just loves the lures, and he's a surface guy. We're looking at these schmelkies. He was telling me how they're a machine and they're aluminum, and we're pushing this kid out of the way. And we look over, and it's 3 deckhands from Dana Wharf that we fish with all the time. We were there like 20 minutes before we even noticed each other. And these are all young kids, so let's feed it, And then when you go to the bathroom at some fishing eatery, and you come back about a half hour later, and they wonder where you were lost, stuck on the wall looking at pictures. So I love it, dude. Thank you for saving it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. Brings there's a lot of eateries that show great history of sport fishing. One of them, or bars or whatever, one of them comes to mind is up in Sitka, the P Bar, the Pioneer Bar, showing the history of Sitka. I know you've been there, Michael, and think about how much history in Alaska fishing there is, right?
Oh my, it's insane. Yeah. How it evolved from the commercial fishery into the sport fisheries up there is just amazing. Seth has done a great job there with Kingfisher, and same over at Waterfall, and preserving the history.
Yeah, indeed.
I just like
you might have to have monitors.
Pictures of John Freeze.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We got more phone calls. We got more great stuff with Michael Fowlkes. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
Pete here to tell you about our friends Jim and Mary and their incredible crew at Poway Valley Collision. I hear it all the time. Hey, I took my car to Poway Valley Collision, and you were right. Mentioned you guys, and they gave us the VIP treatment, fixed our car, and even gave us a special price. Believe me when I say Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them now, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And I'm not fooling. Our listeners can save hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, and Wawanesa, and more. All you do is call Jim, Mary, or any of their team members, and they do all the rest. No hassles, just top-notch work and VIP treatment. I had my car repaired at Poway Valley Collision, and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
Shimano has done it again. An amazing lever drag 2-speed reel at an affordable price. It's Speedmaster 2, the extremely durable, high-performance Speedmaster 2 with high maximum drag power and a smooth, ultra-wide range of drag adjustability is an absolute fish-fighting machine. Its rigid hogany body prevents misalignment of moving parts under the heaviest loads. Plus, a spare drag cam is included for optimal use with monofilament lines. The Speedmaster is now available in 4 models: 12, 16, 20, and 25. This is the perfect reel for the angler looking for a powerful, lightweight, smooth casting reel for tuna or other powerful saltwater game fish at more affordable price. Nothing in its class can match the Shimano Speedmaster 2, built to provide high-end performance and durability in a compact, lightweight frame. Get the Shimano Speedmaster 2 lever drag reel at your local Shimano dealer. Check Shimano.com for all the details.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
For local and long-range fishing, the Islander out of Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among seasoned or novice anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. They also do incredible Guadalupe white shark diving trips as well as a schedule of kayak mothership trips. You need to check out the Islander on their website, islander-charters.com. The Islander is San Diego's leader when it comes to 2 to 5 day fishing. Watch the website for trips and adventures available. Experience the Islander difference. Visit islander-charters.com for all the details.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having such a great time talking with Michael from Inside Sport Fishing today. This has been awesome.
Yeah, the history of sport fishing. And Michael, how long have you been a member of the Tuna Club in Avalon?
I think it was 2011, so it's been almost 10 years.
Cool.
Wow. And
go ahead, Pete.
The first time I went into, I think Bob Hoos was the first guy to take me inside the Avalon Tuna Club, and I my jaw was just on the floor, and just the thought of seeing some of that produced and put together by Michael Fowlkes, some of that history over there. I'm like, I have goosebumps just even thinking about what your project is coming up like.
Yeah, that club it is truly an amazing experience. It's walking into, I don't know, the Mecca. You know, it's just it takes my breath away every single time I step on the porch.
I got to sneak in with Stotesbury one time. He took us in there, and you can't look to your left or to your right or up or down without just tons of stuff. I mean, everything, the photography and all the old trophies, and just, I mean, I you could spend a lifetime in there, not see the same thing twice, and just be, it's just as jaw-dropping every time you get to see it. It's so cool.
But Michael, one thing I'm not familiar with is the Catalina Island Museum. And they're kind of helping you out with this project, right?
They've stepped up big time, Pete. To be honest with you, they have a new curator. His name's Johnny Sampson. I call him Johnny Avalon. Guy out of San Francisco who is just passionate about the Catalina history, and they are really refocused on creating a museum that's state of the art in terms of historical facts for Catalina Island over there. So it's exciting to be working with a group like that, because they really, their whole commitment is the history of Catalina Island. And
wow. And where is the museum?
It's just up. You remember where the old Vaughn's was?
Yes.
Just up the street from the original Vaughn's.
Okay.
Up on the right-hand side. Yeah, the Catalina Island Company has put together a beautiful new facility there. It opened a couple of years ago, I think, and it's spectacular. And what we're working on right now is trying to create a permanent sport fishing exhibit, and not just a temporary, like a summer or winter show. They got the Titanic coming up in August or October, I think. They've got the Titanic coming up, which will be a great exhibit. But that's what they call a traveling exhibit. So it'll probably be for 6 or 8 months. And but what we're trying to do is create a historical spot in that museum for the history of sport fishing.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, phones are packed. Let's go ahead and jump back into it.
You got it, man. How about we talk to Tom? Tom's calling us from Temecula this morning. Hi, Tom. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Morning, guys. Great show. Michael, I've enjoyed reading Bill Poole's story there by Chuck Garrison, Fisher Cut Bait, and he touches on a little bit of the history of sport fishing as far as Bill Poole goes, and that was an incredible story. Growing up in Huntington Beach, I fished a lot out of Newport there, and remember Spike Taff, running the Frontier and the Bonanza and some of those sport fishing boats, watching fishing flashes on TV from up, on Fair Point Landing. How do you go about choosing what to to document because there is so much?
Yeah, good question.
I think that's the biggest daunting task that I'm looking at right now. And every time someone calls in with more information, I went, oh yeah.
What about that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we got to get that. And so it's going to be a challenge to. We obviously won't be able to include everything and everyone that should be included, but I think if we cover from like the 40,000 foot elevation to begin with, and then let it drill down into certain individuals to begin with. I know Bill Poole, in my mind, is one of the true founders of our sport. I've been talking to Ingrid, and she's definitely on board about trying to get Bill's story told. Frank is another big player, Donnie Hansen. Moving on up the coast, I grew up fishing on the Western when I was 9 years old, so I'm very familiar with Spike and the boats, Bonanza, running there out of Arch Landing, the old Davies Locker number 2. So there's just so much to cover. But I think if we can cover it in a broader stroke initially, and then as we dig up more and more facts and find people that can tell the story, my idea is to have the story told through the eyes of those that lived it. So
that's cool.
That's
going to be cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Tom, thanks a lot.
And also any suggestions that any of all you guys have out there, if you know of someone or something that really feels like that needs to be included, zip me an email. Let me know. I'm keeping track of all the suggestions, putting a portfolio together of everyone's ideas, and it's a work in progress. So
yeah. So how does one get a hold of you, Michael?
Inside Sportfishing at mac.com. Inside Sportfishing at mac.com, or they can go to the History of Sportfishing, thehistoryofsportfishing.com, and my email address is in there as well. So just go to thehistoryofsportfishing.com, and there's a contact.
Historyofsportfishing.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they can contact me through that.
All right. Here's a guy, Mark Wheeler from Encinitas Ford's on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Good morning, guys. Hey, Rock Cod. Hello, Michael and Pete. Great show.
Mark, thanks for getting your checkbook out this morning.
Oh yeah, well it's perfect, Michael. If there's ever a guy to do this, I mean, I've got a lot of your tapes from Inside Sport Fishing. Love them all. The production quality and the enthusiasm that you seem to put into those videos are incredible, and so I know that your production of the History of Sport Fishing is going to be phenomenal. So that's why I want to be involved. And I see,
Mark, I want to tell you, we couldn't have done Inside Sport Fishing all these years without you and Encinitas Ford and the Southern California Ford dealers. I know you were president there for the association for years, and personally, I just want to extend my thanks to all the support that the Ford dealers have given.
Oh, it's been a great relationship. The same thing with Let's Talk Hookup. We've sponsored Let's Talk Hookup for what, Pete, 20 years?
25 years.
Wow. Yeah,
25 years. Yeah, I know we're getting old, huh? But
it only seems like yesterday.
And I'm the same way. It's like if it wasn't for Mark and the support of the Southern California and the San Diego County Ford dealers on our side, we wouldn't be able to still be here for sure. So
I know.
We appreciate that.
Well, I'm listening to Michael talk about Waterfall, and we've been up there together. And then obviously the Tuna Club. But I thought, Michael, that perhaps it'd be better if you did the history of sun tanning on the back of your boat in Avalon, because that's where I see you.
Yeah, it's called the Vintage Vortex, that's for sure, man. Once you get on the back of that boat in Avalon, everything seems to cease to exist.
Oh, it's awesome. I go over there and I go, well, I got to see Michael's. I'm coming in the harbor, and there he is. And when I leave, there he is. And it's all good.
Indeed. No, and that's, Avalon has such a special place in history too. What a cool idea of premiering at the pavilion there.
Right?
At the casino, yeah. Wouldn't that be cool?
At the casino, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Fabulous.
Yeah. It'd be a pretty cool premiere.
Best to all of you guys. I'm just excited for your production, Michael, and Pete on the support side. The advertisement you're running for San Diego County Ford dealers is great, but we've had some new news that just worth mentioning. We have 84-month financing for 0% on all our remaining 2019s. So if you look at the the monthly payment structure of getting into a brand new high efficiency, under warranty, all the good stuff of these new trucks and SUVs that we have at 0% for 84 months at 0%, and we can defer the first payments for 90 days.
Totally.
If you pick out of 2020, it's 0 for 72. So it's just the affordability of purchasing new vehicles. I haven't seen it any better than it is right now, and it certainly, can't stay this good forever. So it's really, I encourage all the listeners to come down to see your San Diego County Ford dealers and take advantage of all those offers.
That's a great message, and what a great deal! Basically, 7 years for free.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm on my way down, Mark.
Yeah.
I'll see you, Michael.
For sure. Hey, Mark Wheeler, Encinitas Ford, thanks a lot for that. Get down to your Ford dealer and take advantage of this great program that Ford's put together. It's time to get the new Ford car or truck of your dreams, for sure. Hey, thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Hey, Michael, this show is going so fast.
I know.
I've had this question in my mind all day, all morning. What are the favorite? Do you have a favorite or a couple favorite moments of film that you have seen that just went wow?
Great question. In regards to the history, you mean?
Right,
or
right. Just like some of the stuff that you've been able to view that you've collected. What are some of the wow moments in Michael Fowlkes' mind?
Wow. I think one of my favorite shots is a shot off Newport of a man and his wife and two kids, and it looks like to me about a 9-foot runabout with flared wings and a little outboard, and he's trying to drive the outboard and make a circle around in front of the camera, and he's holding his wife by the top of her head, trying to turn her head like he's trying to turn the boat, and it's just it's just the cutest damn shot I've ever seen. So I think that's one of my favorite shots. They're not fishing, but it's basically in the middle of the fishing fleet. So that's a cute shot. And then there's been some phenomenal stuff coming in from, honestly, the big giant bluefin in Nova Scotia, bluefin off Bimini Bay. I've got some stuff in the 1930s of one of the first recreational boats that ever made it to San Clemente Island to fish the calicos and the yellows over there.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah, it's some really, really cool stuff. So there's not a single moment, Pete, that I can pick out that said, oh, this is the money shot. The whole thing becomes an embodiment of what we all love to do as a whole.
Yeah. And all you need to do to tease yourself is go to the historyofsportfishing.com and look at the teaser video that Michael put together. If that doesn't get your blood moving and want to donate to this project, I don't know what is.
It's the wrong sport.
That's for sure. Michael, the other follow-up question on that is, I know you have a massive collection of antique tactile. Do you have a favorite piece that you just just look at and you just go, man, that's awesome?
I don't, Pete. I don't have a favorite piece. I think probably some of the old flags, the really old vintage flags, have a lot of appeal because of the linen, stitching and the way they were made. But every time I pick up any rod, reel, lure, photograph out of that collection, I just sit there. I can spend hours just looking at one thing. You just close your eyes and you let the history talk to you. It's really an amazing experience. So.
Along the lines of blending old with new, one of my most favorite stories of you was from not long ago, and I know that you did some filming on there. It was when you had made a trip on the Shogun and were able to catch a tuna. Maybe you could tell the story. Is it over 100 pounds on vintage tackle? Was that what the goal that you were able to accomplish was?
Yes, sir, Rick. Absolutely. In order to, you can become a member of the Tuna Club, but in order to become what they call a qualified or a voting member, you have to catch a marlin or a tuna over 100 pounds. And I was fortunate enough to get on that trip with the Shogun, and I took nothing but vintage tackle with me. It was the first time I'd gotten on a boat in almost 30 years without my camera. So my focus was 100% on catching a tuna over 100 pounds on linen tackle and vintage rods. And I was able to do that. And it was the first time in 67 years that anyone at the Tuna Club had qualified with a with a tuna over 100 pounds on vintage tackle. So I was really, really proud.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I know that the guys on the Shogun helped you do that for sure. They're an
Oh
awesome
my
crew.
God. Yeah. That whole trip was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, phones are packed. Let's sneak in another call.
You got it, buddy. How about we talk to Rich? Rich is calling us from Bradley this morning. Hi, Rich. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, and good morning, everybody. One of the reasons I like to watch Inside Sport Fishing, besides being amazed and entertained, is every now and then you get those special nuggets that are something you can pack away in your kind of a mental tackle box that you can use later. And I'm wondering, what are some of the things that stand out for Michael from having been behind the camera that he wanted to that made him a better angler as he went along?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, thank you.
I think what would probably stand out the most in my mind is being aware of the circumstances of the moment. Especially when you're fishing on a sport boat or even a yacht, it doesn't really make any difference. But to be aware of the circumstances that you find yourself in at that moment. Are the fish coming up behind the boat? Are they 100 feet below the boat? What do you need to do to adjust your presentation to get bit? So I think being aware of what's going on around me and learning how to listen to the skippers when they're giving you some dope on the radio there, saying, hey, drop down or do this or do that. Be able to adjust and adapt and change the methods and the tackle and the techniques that you're using at a moment's notice. Because a lot of times on these fish, you only have that fleeting 30, 60, 90 seconds when those fish will pop and bite. And if you're not there, if your bait's not in the corner or your bait's not down below the boat when they're circling underneath you, you're not going to get bit. So I think being aware of your circumstances and being able to adapt and change what it is that you're doing, what it is that you thought you were going to do, what you were planning on doing, to do what you need to do to get bit.
Wow, that's good
great
stuff. Yeah, that's amazing. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. Appreciate that. Let's try and sneak in another one, Rick.
You got it. How about we talk to Doug calling us from Montebello this morning. Doug, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yeah, when did you see the color change on these fishing irons anyway?
That painting scheme has been going on since the beginning. Every manufacturer out there was doing his own painting. A lot of them was all hand painted, then they started spray painting. A lot of them were raw to begin with. The bone jigs, for example, never had paint on them.
And they probably got bit just as well, right?
Absolutely. I grew up fishing bone jigs, straight bone jigs.
That's definitely been one of my favorite things. Like Pete, you were mentioning that Facebook deal there with the jigs is seeing the collection of all that old, the baldies and bone jigs and, inlaid abalone, shells that, Eric from Eric's Tackle had and Dave and yourself and like all those cool, inlaid, works of art, from back in the day, albacore boat line type jigs. That's been like one of my most favorite things.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
Indeed. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning, Doug. How do you collect all this stuff, Michael? How do you find like this antique tackle? How does Dave find all this surface iron? Is there like a network of guys that do this and search it out?
Well, I think
you go through people's garages.
Yeah, that's how I started. I mean, it was garage sales, swap meets, just getting out and that what is that one that you guys used to have down there in San Diego at the arena? Kobe's, yeah. I mean, I drive down to Kobe's. I drive up to Long Beach. Go to the Marine swap meets, and just you're always looking. Someone passes away, and his wife has a bunch of tackle in the garage, and decides she needs to get rid of it at a garage sale, or you walk in and there's a bucket of iron for $25. And the jigs in there are worth $500-$600 a piece, some of them. So, it's really the hunt. The hunt is as fun as the actual collection. Is finding
That's cool,
stuff.
Man.
Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
And Rick, you were also saying about new and old. Part of what I want to do on this show is the guys today that are really pushing the envelope on those Parkers, getting out and doing those 4- and 6-pack operations. With really helium and lead has changed the way we fish.
Yeah.
Right.
And include those guys as part of the history, not only the forefathers that created the history, but the guys that are carrying it forth today.
Yeah,
cool.
Michael, you're speaking our language,
Yeah,
man. We can't wait. I'm just so excited. This has been awesome to talk about. It's got me so fired up. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky guy is going fishing on the San Diego. We're giving away a full-day trip. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.
2 years ago, Gamakatsu set out to develop a hook light enough for live bait to swim naturally, yet strong enough to handle your next trophy bluefin. The answer? The Gamakatsu Nautilus Heavy Duty. Most captains agree the Gamakatsu Nautilus hook is best for tuna. And now with the introduction of the Nautilus HD, no matter how big the tuna, Gamakatsu has a hook to handle it. The new Nautilus HD is now available with solid ring or standard hook. Get it now at select tackle shops and start getting bit.
When you put on a pair of Maui Jim sunglasses, the world begins to look different. Colors are more vivid. Contrast is clearer. Details are crisper. Wherever your vision leads you, beauty follows. With polarized lenses that eliminate glare and enhance color, Maui Jim sunglasses won't change the world. They'll change the way you see it. Color, clarity, detail. Maui Jim. Sport fishing, not just for dad anymore. At Dana Wharf Sport Fishing, kids fish free every Sunday. Free half-day fishing trip and clinic free for kids 12 and under every Sunday at Dana Wharf. Join the Dana Wharf Kids Club and get over $100 of really cool stuff like 2 free fishing trips, a free whale watch trip, and more. Dana Wharf, everyone's favorite since 1971. Click DanaWharf.com or visit them in the Dana Point Harbor, the bass capital of the West, and only minutes from the 5 freeway in Orange County. DanaWharf.com, where kids fish free.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For more than 58 years, the American Fishing Tackle Company has been recognized as the premier manufacturer of precision-built offshore fishing tackle. AFCO continues this tradition today with an innovative technical fishing clothing line designed and built by fishermen for fishermen. From our next-generation waterproof shorts like Tactical or Stealth to our new anhydrous waterproof jacket and bibs, the entire AFCO clothing line is purpose-built with the latest AFTEC fabrics and features designed to deliver for the demanding angler. To find AFCO products, go to AFCO.com and find a dealer near you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. All right, it's time. The big winner going fishing on a full-day trip on the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing. That's going to Tom in Temecula. Tom, congratulations. You are going to love fishing with Booger and the boys.
Yeah, indeed. And thanks to Dave in the studio there for handling everything. And we sure appreciate all his help. And Michael, thank you so much for 2 very entertaining hours. We never know when we put a show together what it's going to be like. This was a home run. And thank you, Michael. That is really terrific.
Well, thank you guys. Again, I really appreciate you inviting me to be on it. It was an honor.
It was really fun.
Well, if somebody wants, again, the history of sport fishing, you have a GoFundMe pages and people like you and me out there, all of our listeners, throw in $25 and help Michael out, make this history a reality. How do we do that?
Just go to the historyofsportfishing.com and just follow the leads there, and really just become a part of making the history of sport fishing.
Yeah, or be like Harry and throw in $1,000. That'd even be better, right? For sure. Yeah. Hey, Mike,
and make sure you get over to YouTube and watch the shows. It's helping a lot of people get through this lockdown.
Yeah. YouTube, Inside Sport Fishing on YouTube. You have your shows up there, and then of course, don't forget to check that teaser out at thehistoryofsportfishing.com and donate to Michael's fund there. And Michael, we're so excited, and you're going to keep us posted on how this project is going, right?
Again, thank you, guys.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, and keep us posted on the project. We'll look forward to having you back again on Let's Talk Hookup real soon. We look forward to having you back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Jack Webster, the man, commercial fisherman. He's got a lot of stories to tell. It's been a while since we've had him on Let's Talk Hookup. He's a very, very popular guest, so that's going to be a great show tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Once again, thanks to Dave in the studio there at the Fan, and thanks to Adam for posting those archives up. We sure appreciate all that he does, and we'll see you right back here, 7 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning on the Let's Talk Hookup app and radio network.